As you may know, the American right wing has made a big bet on cultural issues in the United States for the last many years, increasingly so, as I talked about in a segment before our recent break. And part of this has been noticeable in the total lack of policy discussion by the Republican Party. It's basically a playbook of call the left socialists and communists, oppose everything Democrats want to do, and try to win on that platform. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work quite so well. The other part, of course, is waging war on issues like cancel culture, which we've talked about now must be a dozen times. And as a quick cliff note, remember that Donald Trump campaigned on being against cancel culture. His cronies, fellow Republicans, have endlessly ranted about being against suppression of speech, against regulation of businesses, against all of it. We knew it was always a ruse. We knew it was always a way to hype people up in order to get them activated, get donations out of them, frame the left as evil authoritarian suppressors of speech. And it's come full circle now. Donald Trump and Republicans, after months of denouncing supposed cancel culture on the left, are demanding boycotts of countless organizations and companies because they don't like the speech being expressed by those companies. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where this fiasco started, but a big part of it was voter suppression bills in a number of states, including notably Georgia. Georgia passed a bill that would significantly restrict voting and make it harder to vote. One organization that spoke out, that's speech about the bill, was Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball was scheduled to have their All-Star game in Georgia, and I believe their draft as well. They've pulled it because of the Georgia bill. This is not trivial. The tourism industry experts believe that pulling the All-Star game will cost Georgia about $100 million. Now, there is a real argument. There's a good faith argument to be had about whether Major League Baseball and others who are now saying boycott Georgia are actually hurting the people who pass the bill versus hurting people who just work at all sorts of businesses that would benefit from having the All-Star game there. That's a fair debate. That I totally respect that debate. But Donald Trump has come out and said, boycott everyone who is participating in the boycotts or even speaking out against the Georgia bill and other bills. Trump delivering his delusional Easter message, which we are going to look at, saying, for years, the radical left Democrats have played dirty by boycotting products when anything from that company is done or stated in any way that offends them. Now they are going big time with woke cancel culture and our sacred elections. It is finally time for Republicans and conservatives to fight back. We have more people than they do by far. Look at this. Boycott Major League Baseball, Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, JP Morgan Chase, Viacom CBS, Citigroup, Cisco, UPS, and Merck. Don't go back to their products until they relent. We can play the game better than them. Trump saying we can out-cancel the cancel culture people. They didn't even get approval of state legislatures, which is mandated under the U.S. Constitution. And then he throws in they rigged and stole our 2020 presidential election, which we won by a landslide. And then on top of that, boycott and scare companies into submission. Never submit, never give up, says Trump. The radical left will destroy our country if we let them. We will not become a socialist nation. I don't know what that has to do with anything. And then Trump saying, happy Easter. This is the cancel culture Trump claims to be against. This is Donald Trump, a former president, no less, saying cancel these companies because they have the wrong opinion, by which he means an opinion Trump doesn't like. Now, as a total side note, this is just from my experience over the vacation week. Trump saying boycott Delta. I hope his followers do. I just flew last week, fully vaccinated, of course, with a mask, with a test, negative test. Doctors were shocked by how well I did on my test. The number of right wingers on my flights who just insisted on taking their masks off at every opportunity, continually, oops, I forgot to put my mask back on after having one sip of my water. I believe the skies would be much safer if Trumpists boycotted flying altogether for the time being. Have at it. Okay, that rant aside, one of the things I really like about the Joe Biden presidency so far is that Joe Biden isn't erratically and hyperbolically weighing in on all of these issues. Some people are saying boycott, others are saying don't. Okay, Joe Biden said he would support moving the All-Star game out of Georgia over the law. And that's it. He's busy governing. He's busy getting 4 million shots multiple days in a row into the arms of people, which we will talk about tomorrow. Let others decide what to do and who to boycott. But the irony of Trump, supposedly against cancel culture, making himself the canceller in chief is really stunning. And this is the case with everything. We've exposed this for a decade on the show. They're against deficit increases until their guy is in office and wants to go to war or give tax cuts for the rich. They're against canceling things unless it's them doing the canceling, and on and on. I won't go through a dozen examples because we've done it so many times before. Their stated principles mean nothing when circumstances change. And we will have more coverage of this on our Instagram page. Find us at David Pakman Show on Instagram, and find pictures from our spring break. You will see how safely I was living spring break on my Instagram at david.pakman. By the way, about 100 people unfollowed me on Instagram when I posted a picture of myself at a beach pointing out that I was fully vaccinated. And a bunch of people saying, why aren't you wearing a mask? It's like, I'm by myself on a beach. Why would I be wearing a mask? But you know what? That's their right. Nobody's canceling anybody. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, david.pakman on Instagram. Quick break, back after this. One of our sponsors, PureVPN, is giving you 47% off a 1-year plan, which comes out to less than $6 a month. PureVPN makes you anonymous online, and you can trust them. They're the only VPN with an always-on third-party audit, verifying that your internet activity is not being logged. PureVPN keeps you safe from hackers, prevents you from being spied on by your ISP, social media companies, government surveillance. It lets you stream shows and movies that aren't available in your country. PureVPN is super fast with over 6,500 servers, and you can use it on all of your devices with 10 devices logged in at the same time. You can try it for a week for just 99 cents, and you'll get 47% off a 1-year plan, which is less than $6 a month when you go to davidpakman.com/VPN. The link is under this video, and you'll even get an additional 10% off when you use the code PAKMAN.